I just think we were going to go inside, but I think when it's a beautiful day like this, we're down in, of course, the beautiful South Beach pavilion, but also Charlesland. I'm here with the gorgeous Kelly Cheung, and I got to say, well done. I noticed just during the week in the newspapers, you're part of the Meningitis Awareness Week. And you had direct experience when your son Jonah was 5 months old. You realised that he had meningitis, and that thankfully, even though the doctor said he had a 25% chance of getting through it, being the tough little lad that he is, he's now heading off to school and he's as healthy as ever. So I should ask initially, what are the symptoms that people should look out for when it comes to meningitis?
Yeah, I suppose there are many the main obvious symptoms that you should look out for with meningitis. Things like a fever or vomiting, certainly an aversion to bright lights or just a stiffness around the neck or anything like that. Depending on the age of the children or whether they're adults, if you feel some of the signs could be just even, you might feel like, oh, it's a vomiting bug or something like that. So sometimes the signs of meningitis could be kind of quite mixed up with other just quite general bugs and things that you can pick up as well. So there isn't anything major, unfortunately, but they're the things that if you feel particularly unwell around those symptoms I've just mentioned, definitely just to look for a bit more assistance.
Well, what surprised me was to learn that people would think it's something that, with the vaccines we have today and all that it isn't going to be an issue. But it's 200 cases per year in Ireland, it said, that would still be diagnosed.
Yeah, for some reason, Ireland has the highest prevalence of meningitis in Europe, and we're not really sure why. So, and that kind of surprised me finding that out afterwards, because I suppose when Jonah was diagnosed with it, actually I thought it was something that was, gone, banished. I actually didn't even think that was a possibility. So that it's, the prevalence of it in Ireland is still quite worrying. There's vaccinations. There's a Men C vaccine that is on the programme of immunisations at 4 months. There's a booster later on as well. And thankfully this year the government they will be introducing anyway from September of this year, a Men B vaccine, which is just another, I suppose, added vaccine to help kind of prevent this.
Well, I don't know whether it's something that has come back or that it's always been there and we just were unaware of it until, as in your experience, you've just had to deal with it. But I don't know whether the symptoms, the actual condition has been always like we're getting that every year, or whether it's just a recent development that it's some way kind of come back in Ireland. I don't know whether you know if it's...
I wouldn't be too familiar with that, to be honest with you. But the only thing is, it's like, I suppose, in the past it's possible, because some of these things could be mixed up with just a really, really bad flu or something like that. And if you don't act very quickly, the outcome is very, very different to just having a flu. So I think kind of the main thing is it's speed. It's just getting to something very quickly to say, look, I really don't feel well, or my child doesn't feel great, that just to get medical assistance straight away.
So your own involvement, you've become quite active in promoting, especially now with this week that's in it, the Meningitis Awareness Week. Was that something that they approached you, whether you sort of felt, well, I've had that experience, I can be of assistance here, I should approach them? It's great that you are involved. I don't know how that came about.
Well, after Jonah's couple of weeks in hospital and after he made a full recovery, it was kind of suggested that we contact the Meningitis Research Foundation just to get a bit of assistance as to what the future holds. I think he was so young that we knew physically there wasn't going to be any amputations, thankfully, so we knew physically he was going to be okay, but we didn't know the main issue for us was developmentally, that would he hit all his major milestones, he may or may not have. So the foundation was great to really guide us along the way. Sort of when he was 2, he wasn't able to speak, or they gave us assistance to say, right now he maybe will go and try and get some speech therapy like that. So I suppose as the years went on then, and we knew Jonah is fine now, that we thought, yeah, absolutely, we'd love to get involved in any way we can and get the message across that meningitis, unfortunately it's still out there, and just to parents and just to be vigilant of the signs.
Well, I'll put all the links that people need to sort of go and check any kind of more deeper information they need about it. But I'm hoping that Jonah's aware that his parents are pretty cool, that they were able to recognise something early on and give him all the kind of good kind of life that he's going to have. So he has said thank you, has he, at some point?
Well, I don't know about that. Being, 5 3/4, he thinks he's cool, and I suppose at the moment he thinks he's kind of semi-famous almost.
Right.
So I don't know. So
famous people never say thank you. Yeah.
Maybe,
but he'll see this later.
Maybe that's it.